office in January of 25, 4.4% to 3.3%. And when you've got economic development projects that are generating wages that have gone from $36 to nearly $44, and you're spending 1/3 as much as what we were doing, the prior years through economic incentives, that's how it all adds up. Not to mention, but I will, our economy is growing twice as fast as Ohio and Illinois, 3 times as fast as Kentucky's, 6 times as fast as Michigan's. These are real savings on the operational side. These are real earnings on the revenue side. And I'll continue to do everything I can to make sure that the average Hoosier family is going to have as much relief as the state government can provide. But most of that comes with running it well and making sure we've got that fast economic growth. So happy 4th of July to all Hoosiers. Enjoy it. This is our 250th birthday. Hopefully this will make it a little more enjoyable for you. Thank you. I think you've seen that the dynamic currently is, regardless of what's happening in the Middle East, Iran has probably been pushing the envelope. Oil prices have come down. I think they've tried to do a few things that got pushed back quickly, and that is why you see the markets in general starting to discount whatever happens in the future. You can't rule out anything that might be of a dramatic fashion there, but in general, I think the fact that everyone there has been finding other ways to get their product moved, and that you're seeing fluidity in the strait, every week that goes on, it's probably more unlikely that something could happen the other way. I'm going to take everything into consideration, but obviously, if we did do anything, the legislature would have to be interested in doing it.
Governor, have you had talks with leadership in the General Assembly about the potential special session, and what is your take on how
we've not had it? We've not had a discussion on that. Of course, we did have a discussion on replenishing everything to the locals that they did not have, so they could go forward with projects they want to start and complete before weather would keep them from doing it. And so they know that. And the fact that we're building surpluses and reserves, the state's side of it, will be intact as well. There is a longer term consideration in terms of infrastructure, which has gotten so costly due to steel and concrete going up way more than most other parts that feed into inflation. And that'll have to be a discussion more broadly too on long-term road financing. It's not going to cost us anything in the sense that we've got reserves that are there for that intended purpose. And when you look at the fact that in just a year and a half, we're generating that much more revenue and saving that much, that is how you get any business through, shopping waters, as well as government. The problem is most governments don't get run enough in a way that you can do it. That's why 49 other states are not able to do it, or either choose not to. We're in a place where if you have an unemployment rate drop that much, you never ask about that, but you should, because if that's the case, you are then doing better than almost any of your peer group states in the Midwest, if not the country. And then if you actually start looking at state government where you're generating better results for less money, and that's how you get it done.
Let me ask that question another way.
Yeah.
How much are we spending for Indianapolis? Could it be like $8 million?
So that's very clear because we've known that from the beginning. It was about $52 million that we forewent when we did not have the use tax. It was about $92 million on the excise tax. So you can do the math. And we've been exceeding on revenue alone to cover it, not to mention that is how you get through periods when other places can't do it because they don't run themselves accordingly. So that's the amount. And that hasn't changed really from the time we did it first in April, and then use tax and excise tax has been in play for 2 months, and now it'll be another month.
last year, I think, is how much
They're going to be made whole. Yep.
infrastructure funding. Will we see you pushing to rely less on the gas tax?
So Crossroads of America, we've got more interstates ribboning through this state than probably any other compared to the size of the state. And the last time there was long-term road funding bill done was back in 17. The year before in 16, we did community crossings, which has been by far the most popular state project that I'm aware of, and that enables rural counties, smaller towns to have the best roads we've ever had. I think we need to do more of that, and I think we're going to have it in our budget to do it. When it comes to the entirety, when steel and concrete basically went up 50%, that means you're getting a whole lot less now due to the inflation that's still impacting it. So yeah, there needs to be a discussion among Hoosiers, among legislators, what we do that's going to address that if we want to keep everything in good shape.
Governor Braun, you said earlier this week, quote, we're going to need to probably be looking at some of our general revenue and cost savings from the government we've never done before to help on infrastructure. How confident are you that lawmakers will also get behind?
Well, I said that because lawmakers have already been talking about it. And the only way you can even entertain that is if you've got that much better cash flow compared to what we've ever had before. Infrastructure eats up a lot. It's always been done through user fees, not general revenues, but there are legislators, when we do have surpluses like this, I'm going to be looking at lowering taxes as well, or we spend it for early childhood learning, which is a combination of pre-K and child care. Lots of places where we can maybe get a return on investment, but it's only happening because our economic development is really working more broadly based on the things I told you earlier.
Are you no concerned that the interfering with the IRC as an independent?
Now, this is a pulpit that you can use, and I thought I was fairly clear when I said I want you to make sure you're changing the dynamic to where you're not rubber stamping what utilities have wanted. And I want healthy utilities and I want dependable generation. That doesn't mean you might not look at your operations to lean them up, make it more efficient. And ratepayers, though, got to be involved in that equation, not just giving lip service. And I made the adjustment there in terms of the chairmanship because I thought that should have been clear. And you are limited. You can't interfere other than you can have your own comments on what's been happening. And you've got some discretion by who is chairman and who isn't. And then we got 2 more appointments that are coming up soon. It's going to be to where it's a mutually even playing field going forward because we've got to have reliable electricity and we need a lot more of it. And you're going to have to do it in ways like many businesses do or what I'm kind of doing with government. You can't just expect always to get rubber stamped when you want more money on anything. I don't think that makes sense to any of you. Well, I think he can see where he's coming close to where it was going to be an expired term anyway. Been there a long time. I'm not one that thinks you should camp out in any job for overdue amount of time. And I think he could see that it was maybe going to be going in a little different direction. That's healthy to get new blood into any organization. That's why I'm a big believer in term limits at the federal level. And you can see why. Look what we've got there. Yeah. So that doesn't have anything that would be substantial in terms of the deal. There was that same type of discussion when we did the Colts. And I think that is so tangential to everything else. That's not going to make a difference. It'll make a difference for them if they choose not to put any skin in the game. They're not going to have any say-so for what happens from all the economic benefits we're going to get from it. And I think that is maybe a small group, maybe not the consensus, but we'll see. And it won't derail it one way or the other. No, because NDOT is wrestling with what do we do if we want to improve any highways in a major way in this state, or we wouldn't be able to do a 69, for instance, with all that took, because we knew exactly when that was going to flatten and wane, and it just did what we knew it was going to do back in 17. So that's when you have to have a discussion. I feel good about rural roads, the counties that generally don't have the resources, because we do that through community crossings. And I'd like to bump that up a little higher because it's been such a successful program. And again, that's with skin in the game. And I remember when we first did it, there were complaints from mayors and commissioners that they had to pay anything. Now they love it and they want more access to it. So the big discussion is going to be for all states. What do you do on any additions, any major improvements? You know, we knew that due to the efficiency of vehicles and that it's 100% dedicated funding. And yes, in the past, we generally haven't gone into general revenues. This would be the first time ever we've even had the ability to maybe look at that, because roads are important. Economic development is not going to keep occurring in places that it's getting a lot more traction now than ever before if you don't have good infrastructure.
Is that something your administration had a hand in? Another inmate potentially having execution dates that soon? What do you think is the future of the death penalty?
So I think that's a discussion legislators are going to have. You can see that it's not an easy navigation. It's not always easy, even if you're using the method we use, to actually be able to count on it. The prior administration had to, I think, buy 3 doses at a time, and 2 lost their shelf life. It's something where it's not an easy conversation. There are many that want to have a broader conversation on capital punishment in general. And there are some legislators that want to. Some it's not a big deal to. And even if you are doing it, it's not an easy navigation. That'll be up for them to have that discussion, and I'll weigh in accordingly.
Do you want to remove that cap?
So many things. If you don't, it wasn't the only capped things in the last budget. That was a faulty budget forecast, which I think was done with their best intentions, but it was a snapshot of how tariffs were impacting their forecasts. They just put too much weight on it when it was clear to me and clear to many others that the economy was plowing through it, persevering. So here, the benefit is just look at the math. We're generating a lot by running government more efficiently, and it's the hottest our economy has ever been. And I wish you'd put more of that out there, because that's the truth. And I think that would give Hoosiers a better feeling for what's really been happening and what they can look forward to. Thank you. Those were good questions. Appreciate it.